We're talking about Davante Adams, and we'll get your opinion on that in a moment. But if you had had the chance to be reunited with the Packers, let's say the your health is a little bit in a different place toward the end of your time with the Chargers. Packers want you back. Campy's coming on staff as a scout again, and they give you a call and they say, Blue, we want a veteran presence who's going to be able to back up both tackle positions. We know you can't play guard. Would you be willing to come back? Would that have held appeal to you? Because we're trying to figure out how much appeal that would hold to Davante.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it would hold appeal to me. Obviously, he's in a much better situation than I am because he's still playing at a high level. My role probably at that point wouldn't have been at playing at the high level that he is, right? I mean, I probably would have been, I mean, in the stage of career that I was in. But to me, it would because I mean, I would know the system, I would know the area. I know, I mean, it's a comfortable situation. Probably knowing at some point throughout that season, there's a high probability that I would see snaps. Most likely, it's normally the way those things play out. Normally how things work out, and if the body felt good and the performance was there, maybe you earn time and things like that. But yeah, to me, it would be something that would interest me. And again, I don't know how Davante's looking at it. I have no idea, but uh, if for him, if the money is correct, and I heard you guys talking about that earlier on, and I don't know what the number is going to be that he's looking for, but if the money is correct, um, I don't know how, in his mind, it wouldn't be a comfortable fit going back there.
So Tausch made a point earlier, and is often the case with him. At first, I was like, wait, what? And then the more I thought about it, the more I decided, you know what, he's probably right. Um, this team needs Davante Adams, doesn't it? If you look at where this wide receiver group is with the drops, I mean, 19 drops combined just by Jaden Reed with 10 and Dontavion Wicks with 9, 33 as a team. Watson's injury, Dobbs, I just don't know how to feel about Romeo Dobbs these days, and I wonder how the Packers truly feel about him. Bo Melton, Malik Heath, that's your list right there. Those six
Yep.
guys. I was thinking that corner was a bigger concern because you've basically got Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine, and that's it because I don't believe Jair is going to be back. And even if you bring back a guy like Eric Stokes on a one-year prove-it deal, I don't know how good I feel about that. But I think Tausch is right. I think the wide receiver is an even bigger concern. How do you view it, and how badly do you think this team needs to bring back Davante or do something else at the position?
Yeah, I mean, I think the position definitely needs to be addressed. I mean, and again, and I look at it too with Dobbs, not maybe from what's happened in the past or what happened earlier in the season with him being absent from work and not showing up for whatever amount of time it was. But for me,
Two
it's the
days
concussions. Yeah,
In a
yeah,
game.
and
whatever the
suspended for a
days
game.
were.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's the concussions and the back-to-back nature of it, and how bad that looked in the Philly game, and even with the Guardian cap on. I mean, I understand that thing's not foolproof, but just the nature of that, right? He missed a lot of time from the first concussion, and then it happens at the end of the season, and you saw the way he got carried out. So, whenever those things happen, that's concerning, and it's concerning to me just as a former player when you see another guy like that. If I were to see another teammate, struggle with those types of things, that would worry me. Worry for just the health of the guy. So right off the get, that's a concern. And Reed and Wicks, I've said this a bunch. Like I think they're good football players. I really do. I just feel like if they get a guy like Davante in that room to like they could learn from a guy like Davante, they would elevate their game so much more. Like to learn from Davante Adams is like, you know, going to med school and learn from the best doctor known to man. Like, and he's teaching you. Like that's the guy that you get to go into the operation room with every day and watch how he does it. Like, and that's like that's what you get with Davante. And Davante has always been a guy that I think when young wideouts come in, he's always been, at least from my knowledge, being around him and seeing how he operates with the younger guys, they're like an open book, helping guys out, trying to get guys on the same page, and it would be no different. And the thing with these two guys, Wicks and Reed, they're not young guys anymore technically, right? I mean, they're going, they played a lot of football. They're not technically rookies or second-year players, so they have experience. So they should be able to really understand what Davante's trying to help them out with, kind of the message he's trying to get across, and they should be able to, really take that and run with it. Now, could it be, maybe a little uncomfortable at first because they could feel like, they're bringing someone in, he's going to be taking, reps and potentially time and potentially catches and touchdowns away from me? Yeah, I mean, it could be. It could be, but at the same time, like, we started this last season, right? Everyone said we're all in this thing together. There's no true number one. We're all trying to, we're all just trying to win. Well, that's got to be the same case right now. It's got to be the same case if you bring in a guy like Davante. So, like, I think it would be good. And then obviously, you mentioned it with Watson, with the knee injury. I've gone through it. Tausch has gone through it. He's going to be fine. He's going to recover from it. It's just, when is he going to recover from it? And is he going to be up to full speed when he does recover from it towards the back end of the season? And you don't know at that point. And that's the whole thing. Like, he's going to be fine eventually. That's not the issue. It's, will he be able to, hop right in and be going 100 miles an hour when he gets back? And that's the question. So I think having Davante in that room would be very, very good. Very good for the team. Very good for Jordan Love. Very good for the offense. And very good for just that room in general to have a guy like him in there.
So, I mean, Brian, you just put up a bunch of different reasons that it would make a ton of sense. The other part is he is going to take the number one corner. Number one corner is going to go with Davante. That is going to help probably as much as, how you run routes and how you be a pro and everything else. But one of the things, and you played with him, I did not. I keep seeing, and I mentioned it with Jason, who knows Davante very well, this whole idea that he's a diva. We have not had the diva wideouts in Green Bay, and I think a big part of that is because you have a quarterback that is going to overshadow. When you have an overshadowy quarterback, it's a lot harder to diva it up. Was Davante a diva?
Not in my experience with him. I never noticed that. I mean, guy worked about as hard as anyone that I was around. You know what I mean? And the thing was, he learned from Jordy and James Jones and things like that. And those guys weren't. So, like, it was all how guys.
Well, Jordy was a bit of a diva. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
only
Jordy,
on the farm.
Yeah, only on the farm when he had to milk the cows. He didn't like doing that. Davante learned from those guys, and they learned from guys before. So, like, it was something that they just, go about their work. Yeah, of course, every wide receiver at all times thinks they're open and they want the football. Of course, that is the general rule of thumb for receivers.
Yeah, you want that.
Yeah, but you want them to feel that way, right? And that's good.
Yep.
But to your point, Tausch, I mean, you kind of said it. Like, when you have a guy like Davante and he pulls the number one corner, and Jason, you were kind of talking about this too last time we spoke about scheming, right? And what happens when you have these type of players like Davante. Defenses now have to scheme against Davante, and when defenses have to scheme against Davante, and coaches like LaFleur know that teams are scheming, you now can scheme against that as an offensive-minded coach and really cut defenses open based on patterns and coverages and how defenses are going to roll to Davante. So that'll be a huge, advantage for the Green Bay Packers if they get a guy like that can really make defenses shift coverage to him every single snap.
Yeah, a couple of my favorite interactions with Davante. One was it
ordering that gordita?
No,
in his basement?
in his drive-through. Yeah, no. One was during the game. I think it was against the Bears
a
one
chalupa?
year, where there was
chalupa.
That sounds very close to free advertising for something other than an ice cream shop. One was when I think it was against the Bears, and there was an incomplete pass, and he counted the 3 guys that were all guarding him. And then the other time was when we were doing a Zoom together with him, and he pulled out his phone and showed on the film there was a play where I think it was against the Ravens where Wink Martindale quadruple covered him, and there were 4 guys around him on a pass. That he may not draw that level of attention at age 32, but he's going to draw plenty of attention, and that's going to make, to Tauscher's point, the lives easier for all those guys. And I keep going back to this, but these young guys never had that guy, right? You mentioned Jordy and James Jones and Randall Cobb. When Davante came in, he got to be around all those guys and grow in his own way. You know, he got a bonus year in 15 when James Jones came back because that was the one guy he wasn't with, and he had a huge influence on Davante too. As much as we like Christian Watson and feel like he emerged as such a great leader.
You've never really been in his fan club, if I'm being fair. I have been.
I'm not sure that's true, but again,
Spindly.
I did say he was wiry. But as great of a leadership skills package he has, he still doesn't have the experience at all as all those first
Gotta have
number
the pelts
1
on
guys
the wall.
did.
Gotta
right?
have the pelts on the wall.
And so I think that's a great point, Brian. And I don't root for much, but I'm rooting for this in a big way, and I hope that it happens.